What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Emphasis on Sports. This is the second episode, and as you see, we're still working on some things, working out the kinks. Just beginning the podcast is a little bit tough, but we're going to work on our volume levels, work on our mic. Those are things that are coming. Got to start, got to get going, so you know what to fix, right? So let's just get right to it. Let's talk sports. Well, the Olympics begin tomorrow. They actually started yesterday with some soccer, some rugby, some archery, but opening ceremonies is tomorrow. Really looking forward to it. Definitely going to cook out. Definitely going to have a real live time. These next couple weeks are going to be fantastic. As far as what's going on with soccer thus far, the men got smacked around 3-0 to France. Meanwhile, our women's national team won 3-0 against Zambia. Now, also, we had rugby start. We are in Pool C for the men. It's been kind of an interesting turn so far. We tied one. We got our ass kicked, like kicked by Fiji. We won one, and right now, currently, we are getting smoked by Australia. Last I checked, it was 18-0. We'll get where we need to get there. I haven't really seen too much as far as archery. We haven't got the medal rounds yet, but we'll definitely be up on that. As far as soccer, our men's soccer team, they're not going to win. We know that they're going to lose. You know, they're knockout round, first out. It's kind of what we do there. Our women's team, fully expect them to win. Fully expect them to dominate. They're going to be great. Of course, you know anybody can slip up. You know, just like they say, any given Sunday or any given day, anybody can lose. So we'll see what happens there. But as far as soccer, I really hope on the men's side, we just all come to reality that soccer for us in America is really a third tier sport. It really is. It's not really something that you grow up doing. Um, Seems like every little kid plays soccer or plays t-ball or something like that, but as they're watching TV and they get into these sports, and you turn on TV, you see LeBron James, you see Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, you see Aaron Judge, you see Shohei Ohtani, even in the hockey world, you see McJesus, you see some of these guys out here, Sidney Crosby, and these are who the kids look up to. These are who the kids want to be because they're seeing them be great. They're seeing them win championships. They're seeing them set records, and they're seeing them do it for a very long time. With the exception of Mahomes, he hasn't got to that long time yet. But hey, if his health's right, he'll be there. That being said, this isn't the sport where our best athletes go and play. Not even the athletes under the best athletes go and play. Nothing that we're going to be able to do about it. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. But here we do have our big four sports: basketball, baseball, football, hockey. Soccer isn't mentioned in those. As kids turn to high school and junior high, their friends are playing other sports. They're able to sit down with their family and watch some of these other sports have tremendous playoff runs, tremendous theater, tremendous TV. And these are who these kids want to be. I hope the world understands that if our best athletes actually chose to play soccer, we would dominate everyone. People can feel however they want about that statement, but fact of the matter, just imagine LeBron James, just imagine uh, Devonte Adams, just imagine Tyreek Hill, just imagine some of these guys out there. Man, you hear me? Now LeBron's out there. No one's bodying him at all. Tyreek's out there. Nobody's catching him at all. Devontae with the elusiveness. He's getting open. He's doing what he has to do. You have a Christian McCaffrey, something like that out there. Oh my God. But that's not the American way. We are open to playing a wide variety of sports, and we just choose not to do soccer as an adult professional thing on the men's side. Now the women, they've been dominating our sport for years. Um, I remember watching the World Cup back in the day with Brandy Chastain sliding across the ground, whipping her shirt off, doing her damn thing. Brianna Scurry, Mia Hamm, whole squad that was really, really exciting. Gave young ladies and young girls a lot to look up to. And to be completely honest, it's crazy that up until a couple years ago, um, no one cared that the women weren't getting paid and compensated like the men when they're the ones that win. That's who we tune into. For years and years, like I said, I'm an Olympic head. For years and years, I could bypass soccer as far as the American men are concerned. American women, I'm tuned in. I'm locked in. I know those players. I know who the hell they are. I know who Carly Lloyd, Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe. I know all of them. Um, I can't name any of the guys on the team. None. Not since Landon Donovan and all those guys, because we don't win. We're very much below average. We go in and play nothing, nothing, or 1-1 with some of these second, third, fourth tier teams, let alone what we would have to do if we stepped on the pitch and had to go against England or Germany or Brazil. We get our boots smoked. That's the truth. So I won't rant too much about soccer, but it's just not our thing. Hopefully we can get better at it as the years go, but if we don't, we don't. That's okay. At some point, we just have to say it's okay. Soccer's not our thing. All right. So moving along to football, because that is also very much the hot topic, major thing going on right now. Um, Everybody's in training camp. There's a couple holdouts. There's a couple hold-ins. Speaking of my Niners guys, right now Brandon Ayuk is holding in, so he's showing up at practice. He's been out on the field with John Lynch. They've had some meetings. Lynch is kind of having him watch the field where he watches it. Lynch likes to stand a little back, kind of halfway across the field, so he can stand there and look at everything like a safety, like his Hall of Fame career, and just watch how everything is going. And he's brought BA back there just to check it out, so maybe he could see the things that are going on. Meanwhile, Trent Williams, he's holding out. Now his deal is money. He needs some more money. He's not really slated to get, but so much money this year. And let's be honest, best left tackle in the game, absolute monster, silverback gorilla. He'll get the money. What I'm hoping is going to happen is when they do re-up him on that money, they phrase the contract the way that they've been doing a lot of these contracts recently. That helps free up some cap space so we can turn back around and give some of that money to Brandon Ayuk. Um, he's phenomenal. Will we do well if we don't have him? Yes. But will we do awesome if we do have him? Absolutely. Hope the young dude gets his bread. He deserves it. He also deserves to stay in San Fran. He's out there tearing it up, and he's probably like the third, fourth option on the team at any given time. When you got McCaffrey, you got Debo, you got Kittle, Ayuk, he'll eat you up, and he's not getting doubled, he's not getting tripled because he can't do that. And that's what our offense needs. Now we let him go. We got Sonny Gray back there, unproven. We got the Rook, Pearsall back there, unproven. BA, people are scared of him. They know what he can do, period. Um, Other things going around the NFL, I mean, it's just ramping up. We're just going to see what happens. A lot of talk about the Jets with Mr. Rogers coming back into the neighborhood. Definitely going to see what goes on there. They really should be an all-star stellar team, but a lot of times those teams that are built up that way don't get it cut. Don't cut it. Think about super teams in the NBA. Just because you sign guys and you have a team that looks great doesn't mean you're going to do anything. Ask LeBron. He's been a part of a couple of those super teams, which to me is a dumbass statement. Because since the beginning of basketball, there's been teams that have had more great players. Now, people are saying super team thing because of the free agency. That's their choice. That doesn't mean they're going to win. I remember in 2004, Lakers picked up Gary Payton, picked up Karl Malone, already had Shaq, already had Kobe. They looked like the team that was going to dominate and just run away with everything. One of those super teams. Remember, before Miami, there was that Laker team. And you know what happened? They went to the finals and they played a team. They played that Detroit Piston team who was an actual team. And remember, they traded for Rasheed to to bolster their inside lineup, and they went ahead and took the whole thing down. So just because you have one of those pre-made teams doesn't mean nothing. LeBron's first year in Miami, they went to the championship. They did not win because they played a team that was playing like a complete team. So we'll see what happens with the Jets. We really don't know, right? We really, really don't know. Some other things that are going on, just I'm really, really, really anxious to see what the Detroit Lions are going to do. I'm a couple hours from Detroit, and I wouldn't mind going to a game just to get that excitement and feel the crowd and feel the heat and all that. They're still the Lions. I was having this conversation with someone yesterday that, hey, Lions, they did great last year. NFC Championship. Choked it away, but they did great. They looked like they were going to go to the Super Bowl and probably win. That's awesome. Do it again. We've all seen this over the years. We've seen teams bubble up. We've seen teams look really, really good, and then we've seen them go away. Um, I live right outside of Cleveland. We've seen it. We've seen it. Cleveland hasn't had back-to-back successful years for a good while. Last year, they did damn good, and this year they should also do damn good. They should go to the playoffs. If Deshaun Watson does his thing and stays healthy, they got the all-star defense. You got Myles Garrett and the boys over there. They're going to do their thing. But it's another year. So as much as I would love to see Cleveland do well, I feel like they're not going to. Should they? Yes. But it's Cleveland. The most Cleveland thing to do is probably go 6-11. So we'll see. We'll just have to see what happens. Also, very, very, very interested in what goes on in Cowboy Nation. Right now, Dak's looking for more money. Micah's going to be looking for money soon. They have one of their tackles that's looking for money. And then CeeDee Lamb. Now, Dak, he'll be fine. Whether or not they give him more money right now, depends on how much they give him, any of that, he'll be fine. He's going to sign up. He's not going to go sit out. That's not Dakota style. CeeDee Lamb, on the other hand, he's sitting and watching all these receivers get this bread, and CD is a key component to Cowboy Nation. If you don't have him, I don't know what you got. That dude gets the ball a lot. He does his damn thing. One time we did see Fred Warner cover him deep, do it, Fred Warner, but Fred Warner's an absolute monster. But you got to pay CD. If you don't pay CD, good night, Cowboys. That's just what it is. And then it's just going to be Philly's division to win or to lose. They should be coming back with a vengeance. I'm also seeing a big buzz around the Washington Commanders. I don't really understand why. They got the rookie quarterback. We'll see how he does. Jaden should be pretty fine there. We'll see. You got Austin Eckler. They actually have a couple good receivers, but you're still Washington. You're still Washington. We'll see. We'll just have to see what happens. I don't believe in them whatsoever. Other teams that are kind of bubbling up or making some headlines, the Chargers. Why? Because you got Jim Harbaugh. Dude's a hell of a coach. Money is an outstanding coach. Can't say that he's not. But you can't coach without the talent. You let Eckler go. You let Keenan Allen go. You let Mike Williams go. All you got in the cupboard is Justin Herbert. He's great. He's phenomenal. But what else you got? You want to go out there and toughen up your team? Cool. What else you got? On defense, you're all right. You're getting a little old. But I just don't see it. Raider Nation, pass. We won't even talk about that. Just won't even go there. A team I'm interested in seeing also is the Broncos. We don't expect anything out of them at all. But Sean Payton, he knows his stuff. And the Broncos are one of those, always just weird teams that could look terrible, but can blow the socks off of somebody. Turn around the next week, get a 70-piece dropped on them. We'll see. We shall see. Will the Chiefs go for the three-peat? That's a heavy, heavy, heavy one right there. Could they? Yeah. They've bolstered their receiving core. Last year, that was the one thing that no one was sure of. You got no Hill. What's going to happen with that receiving core? they won the Super Bowl, and then they picked up more guys. So we'll see what goes on there. Travis Kelce always seems to be um, the same age. I'm not going to say getting younger because he's not. And he's walking around with that mustache, which is fantastic, by the way, but that just shows you're not a young guy. You're walking around with that thick ass Andy Reid stash. But we'll see what happens with that team. Um, can't count them out. They should be just fine. Hopefully, they lose before the Super Bowl and the Niners can get there because they seem to be our kryptonite. Because if we go play anybody else, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. In the AFC North, man, I saw something today about the Ravens. So the Ravens are the NFL's Philadelphia 76ers. And that was pretty accurate. That's pretty good. Um, the Ravens, they're that team that should. They just don't. You got a perennial MVP every single year in Lamar Jackson, just like the Sixers have with Embiid. Right there in that conversation, and deservedly so. But can't get over that hump. And that hump could come in really in the form of the playoffs. That's where the hump comes. Because a lot of these teams, they can beat in the regular season. You get to the playoffs, it's a whole different thing. It's a whole different mindset, a whole different ball game. So we'll see what goes on with the Ravens. Um, Outside of that, I mean, AFC South, that's going to be, I think, probably the most competitive um, division. That and the AFC North, those should be really competitive. But the AFC South, I think it's going to be fun to watch because they have so many young players, especially at quarterback. It's crazy to say, but Trevor Lawrence is like the old man on the block when you're talking quarterbacks in the AFC South. I mean, Anthony Richardson's in his second year. Stroud's in his second year. Levis is in, I think, his second, third year. Um, that's really wild to say that Trevor Lawrence, who ain't been around that long, he's the old man on the block there. So we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what goes on. Baseball-wise, I mean, we're just getting ready for September. We're getting ready for those pennant races to turn up. Um, Playoffs are almost here. That's when I get a little more involved in baseball, to be completely honest. Those COVID years of sports kind of changed my outlook on sports. Baseball, I just couldn't do without fans. Just because it's not the same. You need that. You need that crowd. You need that presence. It comes through the TV. Um, Football was the only sport that I really could do. NBA bubble, it was basketball, but it just wasn't the same. No crowd. Football is the one sport that the crowd really doesn't matter as much because most of the time when you're watching the game, the cameras are pointed to the field and to the players. Just like last year, everyone bitched about Taylor Swift. They're showing Swift too much. They show fans here and there. They show celebrities in the crowd. I loved it when they were compiling how many seconds they actually showed her in a game. And a total, when one of the totals was like 53 seconds in a 3-hour game. Stop your crying, people. Stop your crying. Who cares? The woman's there to see her loved one, her boyfriend. Just the same as Travis was there at her concerts to see his girlfriend. You get me? That's kind of fair. You gotta love. Like, quit with the BS there. All right. But we're just gonna see what goes on in baseball. Like I said, baseball just hasn't been the same. I used to really love the sport. 2007, I watched every single Boston Red Sox game. Got the MLB package, watched every single game. Then the Red Sox went and won the World Series. I haven't had that kind of passion about baseball for a very long time. Playoffs is cool, absolutely, but I don't know, just took a lot out of me with baseball. Those COVID years. Most every other sport I've come back doing some kind of way. The NBA, to be honest with you, not really a fan of regular season NBA. Too many people sitting, too many people BSing. Not a fan of that. The whole load management thing, I understood it with the Spurs when Pop used to sit the old guys. When Pop used to sit Duncan and Ginobili and and Tony Parker. I can understand that. Duncan, old as shit when he was doing it. Totally can get that. Take a night off, especially second night of a back to back. Totally get that. But to have some of these players nowadays want load management, take games off, like, come on, man. To hear players bitch about an 82 game season or having too many back to backs, like, come on, man. Um, I grew up in an era watching, players. Of course, everyone's gonna say Mike, but watching Mike, watching Scotty, watching Barkley, um, watching John Stockton, watching Magic. When I was real young, watching some of these players, man, watching AI, Kobe, Garnett, watching these guys get drafted and do their thing, and the one thing that they did, they played. When Michael Jordan, who is considered greatest basketball player ever to lace him up, that dude played 82 games all the time, and he wasn't checking in for 5 minutes and then checking out. That man was playing. Can't tell me any of these guys can't play. Um, First of all, the health care and the systems that they have in place for these players, it's dynamite compared to what they used to have. We see people bounce back from injuries that halted careers. Um, Back in the 80s and 90s, you tear an Achilles, you're done. You tear your ACL, you'll never be the same again. And you're going to struggle to get back on the court. Teams aren't going to want to throw the money at you like they do now. Guys are turning back around next year. Let's go. Um, so to me, with the advancements in medical, the trainers, just the different things that they have nowadays, man, these players are taking these private jets. Um, they're up in very nice hotels. They have everything given to them, and deservedly. They make a lot of money for these teams, so I'm not harping on that at all. But what I'm saying is the situation is so much better for these players, and you can't give me 82 games. Like, you just can't give me 82 games. Come on now. Um, the only person that may be slightly exempt from my rant here, maybe LeBron, because pretty much LeBron's whole career he's played in the playoffs. Then a lot of Olympics. Um, that puts a lot on your body, but at the same time, bro, you out here you hooping. It's not football. You're not playing 82 games of football. It's not even hockey. Hockey players go back in damn near dead. Kachuk a couple years ago in the playoffs, that man had so many broken bones, and they pretty much, stood him up and just pushed him out on the ice, and he played. You see guys get smacked in the mouth with a hockey puck, blood everywhere. Let's get back out there. We got to win this game. Much more physical game. Those guys can play. What's up? What we doing, NBA? What we doing? Crying? Is that what we're doing? That's what it feels like to me. You guys are getting paid what you weigh. You guys are getting the money. I've always been very pro get that money. Hey, look, if you can get there and get that bread. I'm not mad at you even a little bit for getting that. But with great power comes great responsibility. You know what Superman said? Spider-Man. You know what Spider-Man said? Like, come on now. So let's get it together, NBA. Because right now, regular season just doesn't impress me. When we get to the playoffs and everybody's playing all the time, that's when I'm in. That's when I watch. But up until mid-April, I really can care less about the NBA. All-Star game, trash. All-Star weekend, trash. And, speaking of that, let's kind of speak to that some. NFL Pro Bowl, get rid of it. Just get rid of the whole thing. Just don't even do anything. Or I heard something Joe Burrow said that actually is smart. If you're going to extend to 18 games, like it's probably going to happen because the NFL wants to make more money and the fans will watch it. I'll absolutely tune in. Won't lie about that. Then what they probably should do, maybe the first week of December or the week after Thanksgiving, everybody takes a break. And then you do like a skills challenge weekend, something like that. where you're not actually physically being involved and the possibility to get hurt. But give me some of that old stuff from the 80s and 90s where you had the quarterbacks throwing the moving targets and you have races and you have, different things like that. Fans would tune in. Also, they're gonna give players a stipend for going. If they don't show up, don't give it to them. Um, One thing I used to hate in Major League Baseball, um, as a Red Sox fan, Manny Ramirez wasn't a fan of going to All Star games and doing any of that, but he would love to be recognized as an All Star and probably got a little cash for being an All Star. Take that away. If players don't want to show up, they're not a Pro Bowler no more. They're not an All Star. That should be how it is. And even if you don't switch to the 18 game season and move that All Star week somewhere in there, and you still continue to do it after the season, um, outside of the teams that are playing in the Super Bowl, if you don't show up, you're no longer a Pro Bowler. Take their name off that list. Remember, fans, we're the ones that at the end of the day pay the salaries, no matter how you want to slice it. We know that these leagues get a lot of money from these TV deals. That's where they get the bulk of their money. Well, who are the ones watching TVs? Us. We're the ones that tune in. Who are the ones that go to the games? Us. Who are the ones that buy the merch? Us. So at some point, if you're not going to put that a hell of a product on the field, just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. And for the players, if your ego keeps you from coming to these games, I don't need you. I'll just go play your regular season and your playoff basketball, but you're not a Pro Bowler, you're not an All Star, you're not none of that stuff. And I'm not talking about, like some people may read into that, some of the specialized things. I don't care if you're in the home run derby, you're in the slam dunk competition, 3-point shootout, the NHL skills competition. I can care less about that. I'm talking about being an All Star, being a Pro Bowler. If you can't consider the love that your fans have for you and at least show up and play, you shouldn't. They should take moniker away from you. You shouldn't be All Star. You shouldn't be a Pro Bowler, right? WNBA, they had probably the coolest All Star game that I've seen in a while. Now, just so happened to fall the right way, the NBA is not going to be able to do this. None of these other leagues are going to be able to do this. It's just not. Hockey might be able to do it, which would be kind of cool. But WNBA had the bright idea. Let's take our women's national team up against the WNBA's best that didn't make the team. So what we got was all of the stars. We didn't just get some, but we got all of the stars. And then WNBA is about to go on a break while most of their players are over playing in the Olympics. Well, some of these all stars, they could have said, "No, I don't want to go to the game. You can take off a couple weeks. I'm cool." They all showed up. They all showed out. They all played. Highly entertaining game, very much so. Probably the best All Star game I've seen for a while. Any sport. Baseball is kind of decent, but play it like you play it, man. Stop sending your starter out there for an inning, 2 innings. Give them 3. Then get the next person up. Give them 3. Then have the closers back down those last 3 innings of the game. Some of them guys that are all-stars, they might be in the next rotation to start when they go to their other team. They may have just started. Those are guys that you sit, and you understand that because that could really mess up, a team's chances or a player's chance to do better and stay healthy. Get that, got that. I'm not arguing that. But I would just like to see the game mean a little more to some of these players. Seeing a lot of ego out here, and players deserve to have the egos and deserve to feel great about what they're doing. But at the same time, man, remember, you're humans. You players are people just like us, right? And no matter what the sport is. It's one of the reasons I respect some of the folks that I respect, because they show that. Watching something with USA Basketball, they're leaving a practice, And every single player just walked by the fans that were chanting their names and, hey, can I have autographs? And these are kids. These are kids out there. I'm not talking about your 40-year-old now. I'm not talking about me standing out there. Like, you walk past me. I'm not, first of all, I'm not standing out there asking for an autograph. But if I was, walk past me. I get it. But there's kids out there. These are the ones that look up to you. You know the one player that actually stopped? Steph Curry. I respect that. I respect that. Steph Curry is more famous than anybody on that team, not named LeBron James. And he stopped. So why can't some of these other players? Come on, you gotta be kidding. You gotta do better. You gotta do better. Um, but that being said, we're just gonna wrap up our sports day today. Hope y'all really are feeling the vibe. Like I said, we're gonna get a little bit better as we go. Definitely need to get a mic. Still gonna post up with my Niner stuff right here. That's just how it's gonna be. Probably have a hat to the bat. I like to wear minor league baseball hats as well as my Niner hats. So we'll see how that goes. But just stick with us. Enjoy the process. Um, like I said, man, we'll get better. From me to you, one love, and I'll see you tomorrow.